What's good, Kitchen Raid? I have set myself a challenge, and that challenge is to meal prep 4 nights worth of high protein, high nutrition meals for 5 of your English Earth pounds. Is it possible? I have no idea. I'm doing this because everything's too expensive, man. Everything is spiraling out of control expense-wise, and something I hear a lot is that I'd be in better shape if I can afford to eat well, or I'm training really hard, but I can't really afford to back it up with nutrition. Have you seen how expensive protein powder is? And the answer is yes, I have seen how expensive protein powder is. It's out of control. My hypothesis is that it's actually cheaper to eat better than it is to eat processed foods. I'll qualify that by saying you might be able to get more calories per penny eating processed foods, but do you need all those calories in the first place? Wouldn't it be better to eat less calories but higher quality nutrition? And I think yes, if you are eating well, you probably need less calories anyway. Like, I can put away pizza like you wouldn't believe. I can put away several large pizzas, no problem. But give me nutritionally dense, whole food, good food, and I can't really eat that much. That's my hypothesis. Let's see if this is possible. I hope it is, but I have absolutely no idea. So let's go shopping and see what's available to us. So I took a trek to my local Morrison's. I had a wander to the reduced sections and I found some chicken thighs that were too expensive, some sausages and burgers that were too expensive. There was fish there too. That might not have been the worst idea, but I didn't fancy meal prepping close to date fish and then eating it for the next 4 days. That seems like a recipe for the run-ips. Then I came across this ox heart, which is super cheap, works out at £3.50 for a kilogram. Excellent macros on heart, full of iron and B vitamins, so I bought the biggest 2 packs I could find. That's our main protein source. Came to £2.69, which leaves us £2.31 for everything else. Next, I wanted to get some kind of a legume. Again, terrific nutrition-wise, good amount of protein to back up the beef. For a millisecond, I considered baked beans, but then I changed my mind because I would rather die than eat baked beans. The positives of baked beans are that they are cheap, they come in a sauce which would add a flavour, but the negatives is that they actually contain baked beans. Instead, I went and bought some red kidney beans and chili sauce, more protein in kidney beans, but also a lot more expensive, so I might undo this choice. 69p for the tin, leave me £1.62. I've just been into Morrison's and I got beef heart, which I think is a terrific choice. Terrific macros, high protein. The only thing you've got to worry about, if you're going to worry about something, is the amount of cholesterol in heart. But as we know, being educated boys and not idiots, dietary cholesterol doesn't move the needle on blood cholesterol. It's a completely different thing. So you need cholesterol to make a bunch of hormones, and if you take it in, your body just makes less. I believe you still got to be careful if you have diabetes. I'm not a doctor. Before you do anything, check with somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. I'm not worried about it because I eat 7 eggs a day and eggs are jam-packed full of cholesterol. In the olden days, they're like, oh, don't have more than 3 eggs a week or you'll freaking die. We're over that now. But I gotta go somewhere else now because they do loose veg, but they don't have scales to weigh it. So I guess you just like figure out when you get there. And I'm trying to spend exactly £5. I've got £1.64, and for that I need to get the carb and veg. Probably in the long run, the best thing to get would be rice, but nutrition-wise, the best thing to get would be potatoes because I find it more filling, high in potassium. Potatoes get a bad rap because of chips and stuff, but an actual potato, like a boiled potato, a roast potato, depending on how you roast it, you know, it's actually good, healthy food. So I'm aiming for potatoes. Whether the budget will stretch to potatoes, I don't know. So I went to Tesco with my £1.62 and I checked out the reduced veg. There was nothing useful. I checked out the peppers, too expensive. And then I bought 3 honking great carrots for 30p, 2 pretty decent sized onions for 32p. I made sure to pick the ones that looked like they had minimal trash layers. And then I spent about a year trying to figure out whether bag potatoes were cheaper than loose potatoes, which they were. So I took like 6 of the fixed price bags of potatoes to the weigh scales and brought the heaviest one for 57p, leaving me 43p. Then I wandered around panicking some more. I looked at chopped tomatoes and I changed my mind on the chili sauce, kidney beans, and bought 2 tins of plain kidney beans for 33p, doubling the amount of beans and saving me 3p. So now I have
have 46 pence. I wanted to get some celery and they didn't have any loose, so I bought a bunch for 52p, putting me 6p over budget. But because I'm a moron, I thought it was still under budget, so I bought this jar of chili powder from Aldi on my way home for 59 pence, putting me 65 pence over budget, meaning that I spent a total of £5.65.
I've made some decisions. Let's go home and talk about them. Depending on how you want to call the rules, I might have cheated a little bit. I have bought as my main protein ox heart. It is cheap as all balls because nobody wants it because some people are squeamish about it being a organ meat, but it's not. I mean, obviously the heart is an organ, but it's an organ that moves all day, so it's muscle. It's not like, you know, like liver and kidneys, like slimy or grainy and not particularly nice. Heart, cooked well, is freaking delicious. It's a meaty texture and not a la texture. And I'm weird about textures, so I should know. This was like 50 something pence, but we're not going to use all of it. So is it really cheating? I don't think so. If you think so, then I freaking lied to get you here. If you put this whole thing in 4 meals, you will probably die if you are me, because I am feeble when it comes to spice. You could do this even cheaper if you, instead of buying loose veg, buy the big bag of odd or wonky veg. You know, it's much cheaper. I was just trying to prove that if I went with a £5 note, I could get enough stuff to make 4 dinners if I only had a £5 note. And then if I walked around the car park like I was a 13-year-old boy looking for small change, I could add some delicious flavour. Flavour aside, nutritionally, this is going to be terrific. And then if you can walk around the car park and find some change, it's going to be delicious too. So this is going to be super simple. I'm going to chop everything up. I'm going to stick it in a slow cooker. I'm going to leave it for, you know, like 4, 6, 8 hours. The thing with heart is that you either want to kind of flash fry it very quickly and then have it rare. Check with where you live to see if that's a sensible thing to do, or you want to slow cook it so that it's not tough and it's delicious. And we're going to slow cook it. We'll whack everything in a slow cooker, peeled, and then I'll measure everything as it goes in. We'll see what the calories are. We'll eat that for the next 4 days and I'll tell you if it's delicious. Well, as promised, I just chopped everything up and stuck it in the slow cooker. Aquafaba I put in with the red kidney beans. I didn't drain it or anything. I just chucked the whole lot in because we don't have the money for stock or whatever. Oh yeah, good trick is when you are chopping vegetables, especially because like we've only got 3 things in here that's a vegetable. I mean, kidney beans. Is beans a vegetable or is it it's a legume? If you cut things into different sizes, it makes a difference. It changes the way you enjoy your meal. You get heterogeneity. I think that's the word. You get more mouth excitement because your mouth's like, ooh, a little bit, ooh, a big bit. I'm telling you, it is an easy way of improving your meal. And on the other hand, you have to chop less. So that's also a good thing. For 500 pence, you can make 4 dinners. And each dinner is going to have 700 calories. That's a good amount of calories. 88 grams of carb. That's a terrific amount of carbs. 11 grams of fat. Pretty happy with that. 51.3 grams of protein. More than 50 grams of protein for, what is it, £1.25? Come on, that's pretty damn good. Now we just have to hope it tastes good. Yo, this is the day after and I've got basically nothing bad to say about it. I was gonna microwave the potatoes for the sake of budget, but my girlfriend was running the oven anyway to make a soup, so I just stuck them in the oven, but you could easily stick them in the microwave like 10 minutes, maybe 15 if you're doing the whole lot of them together. Stab it with a fork. When it's soft, it's edible. Separate the whole thing into 4 containers. You got 4 meals, 700 calories, like 50 grams of protein, all good things. It looks like ass. I know that it looks like ass, but it tastes delicious. It tastes like, it's got that meatiness of like a steak and ale pie. More than enough heat for me from the chili, and it's not bland at all. It looks bone, it looks rubbish, but that's just part of what happens when you try and put as little effort to get as much out as possible. When it came out of the pan, I was like, oh, this don't look too good. It looks a bit like the gravy looks a bit clear, but that would all be sorted out by just sauteing some of the vegetables beforehand, you know, all the ones that we chopped really fine. And honestly, I mean, if you've come here for this video, I'm assuming that you can't be bothered. So This is delicious food, like really good, delicious food. So cheap, so easy. You can't tell me that delivering some food would be cheaper than that, budget-wise, time-wise, or health-wise. You just can't. And delicious-wise, it is delicious. The only thing we're paying for is the fact that it looks like ass. But if you don't mind eating ass, and I know a lot of you don't, really good, delicious, honest, proper good. I rate it. I hope you give it a go. I might have spent 10, 15 minutes of active time making that food, and that's 4 days worth of dinner. Easy, easy, easy. And you can break it up into 6 if you wanted to. Anyway, that's all I got time for you right now. Stay on your diet. Make some gains this year. That's what we're all here for, isn't it? Me, I'm gonna get as lean and as massive as you've ever seen me. Like, don't spot me, watch me, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a good one. Whatever you do, get them gains. Be well.